Welcome back again to the False Prophet channel, where we get Islam busted and the false prophet of Islam busted on a regular basis. In tonight's episode, or today's rather, depending on what time you're viewing this, we will be exposing the co-host on the Kenny Bomer platform. Yes, we're at it again. We are exposing the devil and his lies and his evil minions that do his evil deeds. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to jump right in it because I don't want this video to be real long, because it doesn't take a long time to get Muslims busted. And quite frankly, I'm getting tired of busting Muslims, but someone has to do the job, and it's me. Somebody got to do the dirty work. Somebody has to be the sanitation department, trash man. So Brother Jacob is the one that's called to do the job. So it's time to take out the trash again. And in this episode, we will be exposing one of Kenny Bomer's right-hand men on his channel. He goes by the name of Kareem. Now, he is one of the characters on the channel. He does a lot of talking, but he never says anything. He talks in circles. He only gives his opinions. He takes things out of context. He doesn't stick to what the Hadith says. He doesn't stick to what the Quran says. He frankly just speaks, and he tries to sound smart. He tries to sound like he's a good person. But in reality, he is just another lost Muslim and another victim to the cult of Islam. So in this particular show, he lied about the hadith, which mentions Muhammad being commanded by Satan. So I bring it up on the panel, and as you will see, he denies that Satan commands Muhammad, and he even tried to lie and say that the Arabic word does not say command. And we're going to show and prove that it does, and we're going to expose him for the liar that he is. So without any more hesitation, let's get right into it.
Back to what I was saying. I've already passed that point. I've already made my point about what Kenny was making, so I'm not going to go back to that.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I have to check on the food because it's on the fire.
Do you agree that Satan actually tempted him by asking him to throw himself down off of the mountain? And if he asked him to do that, his spirit wouldn't be affected, but his body would be affected. Right?
Well, let me ask you this question, Kenny. Your
hadith. You agree that his body would be affected and not his spirit? You agree with that?
What was the question again?
Do you agree that if Satan took him up on the mountain, and he asked him to throw himself down from the mountain to commit suicide, that it would only affect his body, his physical body, it wouldn't affect his spirit? So this is an indicator that his body was up on the mountain. Satan took his body up on the mountain and was tempted him.
Now you're assuming. I don't like to deal with things that's an assumption, but if that's how you feel, I won't argue. But what I want to say to you is,
reason, can someone die by jumping off of a mountain?
I'm not wrestling with you with that. I'm not going to wrestle with you with that. I want to make a point.
So
I want to say something.
You understand the point?
Yeah, I understand the point. I understand the point. Now let me say what I'm going to say.
Okay,
Which is worse? Which is worse? Jesus being tempted by the devil but not failing, or like your hadith says, Satan actually commanding your Muhammad to do good?
Now, as you see, this is the introduction to the part I want you to see, which gets Kareem caught red-handed lying. For those who don't know, Kenny Bomer is the white guy with the kufi on his head, and Kareem is the, I don't know if he's black or mixed, or He looked like he could be mixed, biracial, but he is the biracial looking guy with the kufi on his head. So this is the part I want you to see when I get Kareem busted and caught red-handed for lying, trying to say that Muhammad was not commanded by Satan, even though the hadith says that he was. Now, what Kenny Bomer was talking about, the little part you did here, that was from a discussion we were having earlier in the show when I brought up the particular hadith about Satan touching every newborn child at birth. So when I brought that up, that's when one of their panel members, I guess he called himself countering the fact that because I asked the question, why would Allah allow Satan to touch newborn babies like the hadith says? And that's the reason why newborn babies cry when they are born, according to what Islam says, because Satan touches the child and the child cries because of the touch of Satan. So the question I had asked earlier during the show was, since Muslims don't believe in original sin, my question to them was, what did the newborn babies do to deserve being touched by the hand of Satan, and Satan making them cry, when Allah could have chose that a benevolent good angel touch the child at birth, but rather Allah chose to let Satan touch the newborn at birth. And these are the same Muslims who always say that Islam is the religion of peace, but yet the moment a Muslim child is born, they are not introduced to peace. They are introduced to Satan, who makes them cry. Is crying peace? When Allah could have very well allowed a nice little benevolent angel to touch these newborn innocent Muslim children, and could have allowed the touch of an angel to make the babies laugh at birth. Hee hee ha ha, and just feel joyful and smile at birth. But instead, Allah chose that Satan, one who was cast out of heaven, out of all people, be the one to touch newborn babies at birth. But he didn't allow Satan to touch Mary, the mother of Jesus, or Jesus at birth. So when I brought that up, that's when, they were basically offended by that, because they don't like you to say anything that shows a chink in their armor. Because again, you're dealing with Muslims and they feel like they have all of the truth and Christianity is a lie, when actually Islam is a lie, because Christianity, the Bible, the Gospels, the Torah, it was way before Islam. So everything that Islam says that go against the Bible is actually the lie. But to hear them tell it, we don't have the right source. So basically, when I pointed that out to them about Satan touching every newborn at birth, they didn't like it. They don't like you to mention anything that makes them look silly, that makes their prophet look silly, anything that they have to. If you say anything that makes them have to argue or defend their point, and it makes them look hypocritical, they get annoyed. They get very annoyed by that, because again, they are selling a lie. They are selling deceptions, and they are selling lies to you. So when anyone comes up to them like myself, who can point out the lies and the contradictions and the deceptions, they get very hostile and mad and angry, because you messing up their job pretty much. So that's why the part that you heard, Kenny was talking about Jesus being led up to the mountain and taken by Satan. So he was making a point trying to say that basically, because you said that my Allah allows Satan to touch newborn children at birth, then I'm going to talk about your Jesus if he is God and the Son of God, then why did Satan touch him and lead him up to a mountain, even though the Bible does not say that Satan touched Jesus, which I explained to them. But regardless, it was just a side argument and a side point that they threw in, which I explained to them that when you read Matthew chapter 4, the first verse tells you that Jesus was led up in the spirit. I explained to Kenny that this chapter, speaking about this situation, was showing us, the believers, how to deal with Satan. Because Jesus' life is our example. The Muslims say that Muhammad is their best example and the greatest person who ever lived. That's how they tell it, even though he had a 6-year-old wife, he murdered people, he committed adultery with his stepson's wife, he committed adultery with his wife. Okay, but in their mind, he is the greatest person to ever live. So basically, I explained everything about that verse to Kenny, so he kept going at it because he was trying to basically get away from the point that I made and he was trying to make me have to defend something just to get away from the good point that I made about why does Allah allow Satan to touch all of his newborn babies? Because they believe that every child that's born is born a Muslim. So when I embarrassed them on that point, that's when they brought up the thing about Jesus. And that's the little bit that you was hearing. Now, the part we getting into is when I asked him about which one is worse. Jesus been led up in a mountain, which he overcame the temptations of Satan, or like you are about to hear, Muhammad himself actually being commanded by Satan, as the Hadith says. Now, let's hit play.
Satan commanding your Muhammad.
Man,
Satan never commanded Jesus.
Why?
I'm gonna leave him to you.
That's what it says.
Yeah. Okay, let's get real and let's be in reality. If you're going to go to this hadith, read the hadith to me, and I'm going to look at the Arabic, and I want to see where this is actually the word shaitan appears in the text, and I just want to verify what you're saying.
You do know I have shaitan can be a jinn, shaitan can be a devil. Shaitan is a general term. I know Arabic.
Right. But at this point, I don't need you. I need you to show me where you found that in the text.
Well, if I get that, I'm talking about the hadith where your prophet said that there's none of you who do not have a jinn attached to them.
Wait. A who? A what?
A jinn, a devil.
A who?
A genie?
I can show you even the heading of the hadith where it comes from. It says shaitan.
Brothers and sisters, we see how fast the wording changes now. He said that Satan. He said that Satan. He said that Satan. And now look.
You see him saying, look how fast the wording has changed, but we will show you that the word shaitan is a general term. Shaitan can mean devil. Shaitan can mean jinn. Shaitan and jinn are both synonyms for the same thing. Okay, so shaitan is a general term. Shaitan can mean actually Satan. Shaitan, like I said, it can mean jinn. So it's a general term that's used in the Arabic.
How quickly the wording has changed from a jinn, from Satan now to a jinn. Proceed.
Yeah. It says, and they asked him, "What about you?" And he said, "Yes, even me." But he said, "Allah keeps me safe from His hand, and He only commands me but to do good." So that means that Allah is not the only one who commands your Muhammad. Shaitan also commands your Muhammad.
So, okay, again, back to the point. Where does it say shaitan?
Where does it say shaitan?
Yes.
When he said he only commands him but to do good, and he protects him
Where?
from his
Read it.
You got to listen to the content. I don't have the hadith before me right now.
Right,
I would
because
have to,
you're lying, brother.
I'm not lying. I would
Totally
have to
lying. We
read out-
explained this
You're
hadith
never lying.
already. Let's do it again, really quickly.
You hear him say I'm lying? But we'll see who's lying by the time we get to the end of this.
10 seconds.
When have I
This
lied?
hadith is speaking about the unseen world. Within the unseen world, we know that there's a dimension which the inhabitants are called jinn. Jinn are of two kinds. There are good and there are bad. Satan is one of the many jinn, and he is the highest in terms of evil jinn. But
you heard him say, Shaitan is one of the jinn. Now remember what I told you. Shaitan is a general term that can also mean jinn. Keep that in your mind.
And don't forget they are good jinn. Going back to the hadith, the Prophet says that every single person has someone connected to him amongst the unseen world, not saying that there's shaitan, but some of them have jinn that are connected to them that may incline the person.
He said that the hadith says that everybody has someone. I said, no, it doesn't say someone. It says a jinn. He was trying to underplay it. It says jinn.
More to evil. Some have a jinn connected to them that inclines the person to good. And you can kind of imagine this as we do in the modern times with the angel on this side and the devil on that side in the person's imagination. That this one is telling him to do good things. This one is telling him to do bad things. We understand this in modern times as in that concept. That's something.
Now what you see him doing, I like to break down these videos. He's talking and just talking. That's a sign of nervousness. So keep that in your mind. Whenever you engage in someone and they don't want you to speak, they have to stall the worst to come. He knows what I'm about to say is about to put a nail in the coffin. So he is prolonging his life in the conversation by continuing to just run his mouth and run his mouth.
He is commanded by this thing. This shaitan commands him, but only to do good. That's exactly what it says. So that means your Muhammad is not only commanded by Allah, but he's also commanded by this shaitan, jinn, whatever you want to call it, but it's not Allah. So your Muhammad is being commanded by something other than Allah.
I cannot stand to hear him say that. That's.
You hear Kenny Bomer come in? He came in and he muted me, and you heard what he said. I can't stand to hear him say that. Satan does not like to hear the truth. What does the Bible say? The truth shall set you free. He don't want you to be free. He don't want anybody to hear it. What did we say their job was? These Muslims are the minions and the little agents, the little shaitans for the big shaitan, and they do his dirty work of spreading the lie and deception of Islam. From the very beginning, Islam has been about the business of convincing people that Jesus is not the Son of God, that Jesus is not God, and that he did not die on the cross for the sins of mankind. That's the main goal of Islam. In the Quran, it teaches that Jesus did not die upon the cross, that some type of look-alike person replaced him. Deception. So they are following the same mandate since the 1400 years that Islam has existed. So that's why Kenny muted me, as you just saw, because he did not want me to continue to shed the light upon the lies and deception of Islam.
I just simply can't stand it. Brother Kareem, I don't know if anyone can hear you right now.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
Brother Kareem, we can't hear you right now.
We can't hear you.
Well, how long was I muted for?
For maybe 10 seconds?
Okay. Well, that's
Less-
fine. I mean,
less-
I'm hoping that none of the audience is falling for this nonsense. I tried to explain that jinn, which he first said Satan orders him, and then he said it's a jinn. If he would be honest with the audience, he would tell them that in Islamic literature, we know that the jinn, or this unseen being that lives in the dimension outside of our dimension, there are two varieties as human beings are. There are good ones and there are bad ones. And these unseen beings could see us, but we can't perceive them. We can only perceive them at certain times, depending if God decrees that. However, every single being, by God's wisdom, has one of these unseen beings with him. And again, according to Islamic literature, some are good, some are not so good. They can only whisper to you and suggest things to you. And that's what the Arabic word here for that he thinks that is command in the English understanding of that verb. However, the prophet is...
You see where he lied? He said these jinn, they can only whisper. And then he went on to say that when it says command in the hadith, it doesn't mean command, but it means whisper. And we're going to show you where he is lying, and we're going to show you that the Arabic word that was used, it does mean command. And we're going to show you various examples where that same word was used, and each and every time it means to command. So he was basically just utilizing a doctrine in Islam known as taqiyya. Taqiyya is the doctrine when Muslims are permitted to lie in order to save the face of their prophet. They can lie about things when it relates to Islam. So he doesn't even feel no conviction or guilt for telling this lie because he is permitted to lie. His prophet said that it's okay to tell lies. So if you didn't know, Muslims can tell lies.
Actually distinguishing his inclination, or this whispering that comes to him that every other human just like him has. His is of the good variety, so it's not the Satan. We got him busted on that. And this is not a hadith that's condemning the prophet in and of itself. So he is totally wrong on all fronts.
You heard what he said? I'm totally wrong on all fronts. And we are going to see. Notice he also said that the shaitan that was connected to Muhammad was a good shaitan. But nowhere in the hadith does it say that. And we're going to prove why Kareem is telling a lie. Kareem is good at fabricating things and inputting his opinions into the hadiths, into the Quran. He never goes to any sources. He never pulls up any sources. He just goes by just being a motor mouth. But he failed to realize that doesn't work with me. I'm not one of his fellow pupils in the mosque where they believe everything about Muhammad is all good. I'm not one of those people. So that doesn't work with Brother Jacob.
Hello, gentlemen.
Now, that's the end of my session on the show. After that part, I left the show because that's when the fake Christian came on, and I don't like to share the panel with him. So let's dig right into this hadith first and foremost. First and foremost, let's go right into this hadith. And he was saying that a jinn is not a shaitan. Even the chapter heading where you find this hadith, look what it's titled. Look what the chapter is titled. The mischief of the shaitan and how he sends his troops to tempt people. And with every person, there is a Kareem, companion from among the jinn. So even in the title heading that the Muslims themselves placed above this hadith in their books, this hadith is found under the title heading, chapter 16. The title heading itself lets you know that it's talking about a shaitan. But Kareem was denying that. But his scholars, the ones who translated the hadiths, the ones who came up with the title headings, they didn't see it that way because it wasn't the way that Kareem was trying to make it. Look at the title heading, and then we'll read a hadith. Chapter 16, the very title where you find the hadith that I'm speaking about. Look at what it says. Chapter 16, the mischief of the shaitan and how he sends his troops to tempt people, and with every person there is a Kareem, companion from among the jinn. Now let's read the hadith. Abdullah B. Masood reported that Allah's messenger said, "There is none amongst you with whom is not an attach from amongst the jinn." They even put the word devil right next to the word jinn. They put 2 parentheses around it. They put the word devil right next to the jinn to let you know that it's talking about something evil. When you take the word D out of the word devil, what are you left with? Evil. Let's read it again. There is none amongst you with whom is not an attach from amongst the jinn. Now this is Muhammad speaking. There is none amongst you with whom is not an attach from amongst the jinn. Then they have devil beside it in parentheses. They, the companions of Muhammad, this is what they said to him after he stated that every one of them had a jinn attached to them. They, the companions, said, Allah's messenger, with you too? They asked him that question. Thereupon he said, yes, but Allah helps me against him. And so I am safe from his hand, and he does not command me but for good. Now what was Kareem saying? He was saying that this hadith was talking about Muhammad and his good jinn. But that's not what this hadith said. And how we can get Kareem busted, because how we know that this was a evil shaitan, and again, the word shaitan is a general term that can also mean jinn. Shaitan is any wicked jinn that is in Islam. Okay? Now, how do we know that this is a wicked, evil jinn that Muhammad is speaking about? Because look how he answered his companions when they asked him, did he also have one of these jinn attached to him? He said, yes, but Allah helps me against him, and so I am safe from his hand. So if this was a good jinn, then why would Allah have to help him against something that was good? And why is this helping from Allah against this jinn? Why does that convince Muhammad that that's the reason why he is safe from this shaitan's hand? Use your logic. Put two and two together. Because the shaitan, i.e. jinn, that's in question here, is evil. So therefore, Muhammad said that, yes, I have one too, just like you all, except in my case, Allah helps me against this evil thing, and so I am safe from his hand. You get it? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what this is saying. Okay, and it goes further. And he does not command me but for good. You see what it's saying? Now, Kareem said, when it says he does not command me but for good, Kareem said that when it says command, it means whisper. But that is false as can be. Kareem lied. He lied with a straight face, and he didn't think I would get him busted. But he forgot who he was talking to. You're talking to Brother Jacob. I specialize in getting Muslims busted. So let's do some more, let's do some more research. And first of all, let's show you that the word whisper is nowhere in this Arabic. Nowhere in this Arabic script is the word whisper. Okay? Now, let's go to the let's type Arabic word for command. You see that? You see what it says? The Arabic word for command.
أمر.
You heard what it said?
أمر.
Now, I'm not that proficient in, pronunciating, Arabic words. But we can do what we do. Okay? Now, you see this symbol right here? I'm going to highlight it for you. Now, we copied it. Now, let's go back to sunnah.com. And let's go back to the hadith that's in question. It's easy to get these Muslims busted. Easy. Only you just have to know a little bit. Just have a little bit of common sense, because this is not a very intelligent religion. As long as you have a little bit of common sense, you can get them busted. Now, look in the search bar. I'm going to. That's the Arabic word for command, written in Arabic. You see it in the search bar? Now, I'm going to scroll up. That same Arabic word that you see, it's right here. You see where I highlighted it? It means command, and we're about to show you. You see where I highlighted it? It means command. Now let's go back to the Arabic English translator. Let's enter the text. Boom, paste, translating. Command. Command. Let's try it again. Let's show you again. Command. Busted. What did Kareem say it meant? He said it meant whisper. He lied. He lied. And you know why he could get away with the lie? You know why? Because he was on the Kenny Bomer show. They were controlling the mute button. The show is rigged. He has all the rights in the world to just talk for minutes. I only get like two minutes to say what I'm gonna say. And then they mute me. But I'm the liar. According to them, I'm the liar. I'm the one making things up. I'm the Islamophobe. I'm the one spreading the hate. But it's not over with. It only gets better. Now, what we showed you is, we showed you that this word right here that I'm highlighting, this word right here, it means command. The word right there, in the Arabic, it means command. And in the English, they translated it exactly to what it meant in English, from Arabic to English. There is none amongst you with whom is not an attach from amongst the jinn, the devil. They, the companions, said, Allah's messenger, with you too? Thereupon he said, yes, but Allah helps me against him, and so I am safe from his hand, and he does not command me but for good. And as you see, we got this word highlighted. So now we're about to copy this word, the Arabic word for good, for command. We're about to copy it. Now we're about to paste it in the search bar, and we're going to show you how the same word command is used in various hadiths. We're just going to show you different examples. So he can't say, they'll try to say that it didn't mean command in that hadith, or that hadith was an exception. The other hadiths, it means command, but in that hadith, it means something else. So we're going to show them that they're not going to be able to play any games with us. So as you see, we're going to show you different examples of where that same word means command. It can mean command or order. Okay? Here's one example. Narrated Aisha, when I was menstruating, the Prophet Saul's would order me. Like I told you, it can mean order or command. So as you see, they have that same word highlighted, the same word that we put in the search bar, because that's what it means. It means to command. Another example, Sahih Muslim, the book on salutations and greetings. Aisha reported, Allah's messenger, may peace be upon him, commanded me. You see, the word commanded is used again. And you see that same word in the bold black, the same word in the Arabic, like they have in the English where it says commanded. You see where it says commanded? They have the same word in the Arabic that's in the search bar, and it means command. Let's show you another example. And lo and behold, the hadith we just read about Muhammad being commanded by Shaitan. Now, I didn't even know, but that's the third example. As you see, it falls in order with the rest of them. Look at it. You see? You see it's in bold black? Because that's what the word means. It means command, like you see. It means command. Let's show you another example. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet and I used to take a bath from a single pot while we were Janub during the menses. He used to order me, like I said, order, command. You see it again? In the bold black. command, order, black, same word. Let's show you again. Another example. Abu Rafi said the apostle of blah, blah, blah did not command me to align there. Scroll up. You see it again? In the bold black. Same word that was used in the hadith with Muhammad when it says that Satan commands him for the good. Same word in the bold black. Let's show you another example. Let's show you another example. Narrated Salama Hunaida al-Khuzai reported on the authority of her mother, who said, I entered upon Salama and asked her about fasting. She said, the messenger of Allah used to command me. Again. You see it again. In that bold black, the same word. The same word, because that word means command. Let's give you another example. Sahih Muslim, the book of pilgrimage. Abu Rafi reported, Allah's messenger did not command me. You see it again in bold black. Command. Boom. So let's go back to the hadith. So as you see, he can't say it mean whisper, and in no other hadith did it mean whisper, as you saw. So it is clear as day that this hadith is proving my point when I said to them that Muhammad does not only take commands from Allah, but he also takes commands from the shaitan, the devil. As you see, the jinn, the devil. You see? Read it. Read it. There is none amongst you with whom is not an attach from amongst the jinn, and they have devil. I didn't put that there. The Muslims did that because even they know what it's talking about. They, the companions, said, Allah's messenger, with you too? Thereupon he said, yes, but Allah helps me against him. Against him. What does that mean? He has some type of evil plan. This jinn has something evil that he wants to do to Muhammad. So Muhammad says what? Yes, but Allah helps me against him. When somebody is helping you against something, what does that mean? They are protecting you from something that's out to get you, right? Right. Simple. Easy to understand. Thereupon he said, yes, but Allah helps me against him, and so I am safe from his hand, and he does not command me but for good. So Kareem, he told a bald-faced lie. Now let's show you how. Now we're going to show you how the word shaitan is a general term. Okay? This is Arabic for nerds. The word shaitan, is there a difference between Satan, Iblis, and the devil in Arabic? The eerie word shaitan in Islam. The origin of the words Iblis and shaitan. You see? It all means the same thing. The different meanings of the word shaitan. You see, when I was telling him that shaitan is a general word, the different meanings of the word shaitan: devil, demon, devilish, evil impulse or company, jinn, powerful spirits, devilish beings, friends, evil forces. With the definite article, the devil, Satan, Iblis. You see? Now read. Shaitan is a word which refers to any jinn, demon that does not believe and obey Allah. It is rendered as devil. What did they have in the in parentheses in the hadith we showed you? What do it say? The shaitan, it is rendered as what? As devil. What did they have beside jinn in the hadith in parentheses? They had devil, demon, but also as jinn or powerful spirits or evil forces. Does that ring a bell? Didn't Muhammad say that Allah protects him against these jinn? Why? Because they are what? Read what it says. Evil forces. So the context of the hadith, it fits the description that this hadith was talking about evil forces, because Muhammad said that Allah protects him against his shaitan and that he is safe from his hand because Allah protects him against the shaitan. The term shaitan is often used in a broader sense as a metaphor for every human impulse that is immoral. Satan, as some scholars have put it, fulfills a definite function in Allah's plan. He is the eternal tempter who enables man to exercise his God-given freedom of choice between good and evil, and thus to become a being endowed with a moral free will. Now, you see what they say in their term, when they say the term shaitan, you see where they put he is the eternal tempter. What do we show that the chapter heading where you find that hadith, what word do they use? Let's go back to it. You see where it says tempter? Kareem was trying to say that this was not about shaitan, but even the chapter heading has the word tempter, the tempter in it, something about tempting. And what does this say? That shaitan is the evil tempter. Now let's go back to Sunnah.com. What does the title heading say? Even they understood, even the people who translated this hadith, they knew that command. They even translated the Arabic word as command because that's exactly what it was. It wasn't whisper. And what do they have in the chapter heading? Chapter 16, where you find this hadith, the mischief of the shaitan and how he sends his troops to tempt people. What did the definition we just read say about shaitan? He is the what? The eternal tempter. What does this chapter heading say? What is it speaking about? What is the subject matter of this chapter? The mischief of the shaitan and how he sends his troops to tempt people. Boom. Busted. Now, that's how you get a Muslim busted. You go straight to the source, as we show and we prove that Kareem was lying. Now, let's see how much. Now we've shown and proved. Now we have shown and proved that Kareem was lying. And you know what? While we at it, let's just have some more fun, okay? Because Kareem was trying to say that another thing he said, that these jinn were unseen, and I didn't show the part where he had stated that. He tried to deny that babies, in so many words, he was trying to deny that babies are not actually touched at birth by Satan. And let's show a hadith to get him busted. I asked him, did he believe the words of his prophet when his prophet said that babies cry because they are touched by the hand of Satan? Now, also, this hadith serves as a contradiction. We may as well kill two birds with one stone. Also, not only does this hadith prove that Allah, that Muhammad took commands from Satan, okay, it also serves as a contradiction, which shows that Muhammad is a false prophet. Because right here in this hadith, notice that Muhammad says that Allah helps him against this shaitan and that he is safe from his hand. Okay, now, remember what I said. In the other hadith, the one about Satan commanding Muhammad, he says that Allah keeps him safe from the hand of the shaitan, okay? But let's read. In this hadith, it contradicts Muhammad when he said that Allah keeps him safe from the hand of Satan. And let's read. Abu Hurairah said, I heard Allah's apostle saying, there is none born among the offspring of Adam, but Satan touches it. A child, therefore, cries loudly at the time of birth because of the touch of Shaitan, except for Mary and her child. What did Muhammad say in the other hadith? He said that what? He said Allah protects him from the touch of Shaitan. But in this hadith, it says there is none born among the offspring of Adam that Satan does not touch. But Satan touches it, which means Satan touched Muhammad at birth. And the only children that Satan did not touch at birth was who? Read. Except for Mary and her child. Clear as day. He contradicted himself. He's a false prophet. He lied. But it only gets worse for him. Because notice what it says. It says, there is none, N-O-N-E. I want you to keep that word in your mind because I'm about to show you another hadith that gets him busted in another contradiction. So remember that word, none. There is none. That means no exception. None means none. Absolutely nobody. Born among the offspring of Adam, but Satan touches it. Except for Mary and her child. So that's clear as day. So remember that word, none. So now I'm about to show you another contradiction to piggyback off of the contradiction I already showed you. That's not the one I want to show you. Let me show you. Here we go, right here. Ibn Abbas reported, the Prophet said, if anyone intends to have sexual intercourse with his wife, he should say, Bismillah, Allahumma, Janib na shaitan wa janabish shaitan ma razak tana. In the name of Allah, O Allah, keep us away from Satan and keep Satan away from what you have bestowed upon us. And if Allah has ordained a child for them, Satan will never harm him. But what did the other hadith say? In this hadith, it's saying that Muhammad said that if you quote those words that I read, that Satan, if Allah ordained a child for you, Satan will never harm him. Okay? But what did he say in the other hadith? He didn't say anything about quoting something and it will protect Satan from harming your child. Read what it says. Right here it says, there is none born among the offspring of Adam. So both of those hadiths can't be correct because every one of us is an offspring from Adam. And Muhammad right here is saying there is none born among the offspring of Adam, but Satan touches it. But in the hadith I just showed you, let's go back to it. Look, he just contradicted himself. In this hadith, he says that only thing you have to say, the Prophet said, if anyone intends to have sexual intercourse with his wife, he should say, Bismillah, blah, 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 in the name of blah, blah, oh Allah, blah, blah. Keep us away from Satan and keep Satan away from what you have bestowed upon us. And if Allah has ordained a child for them, Satan will never harm him. Busted. Both of those hadiths can't be right. So which one is it? Can you say that little chant that Muhammad said to say, and Satan won't harm your child? So if you say that chant, does it make this hadith not true? Which Muhammad also stated that there is none born among the offspring of Adam, but Satan touches it. A child therefore cries loud at the time of birth because of the touch of Satan. Now, what they'll try to do is say that, well, it says that Satan won't harm the child, but being touched by Satan at birth and a child crying from the touch of Satan, if that's not harm, then what is harm? And we're going to show you that it's harm, because harm is causing pain, right? When you harm somebody, that's causing pain. And we're going to show you that this shaitan, it harms these new babies because it causes pain. And we're going to show you. Boom. Because I know the mind of these Muslims. I know everything they think. I know every way they try to go. I know every direction they'll try to take you. So we're about to get them busted if they try to say that being touched by Satan is not harm. Okay, like it's good. If it's not good, then what is it? So let's read. Abu Hurairah reported Allah's messenger as saying, no child is born, but he is pricked by the shaitan. He is pricked by the shaitan, and he begins to weep because of the pricking of the Satan, except the son of Mary and his mother. Abu Hurairah then said, you may recite if you so like the verse, I seek thy protection from her and her offspring against Satan the accursed. So when Satan touches every child, as Muhammad said, there is none born from the offspring of Adam that Satan does not touch. And Satan harms these children because he does what? He pricks them. You ever been pricked by a pin? That hurts, right? No child is born, but he is pricked by the shaitan, and he begins to weep because of what? Because of the pricking of the shaitan. Clear as day. Clear as day. Clear as day. Contradiction after contradiction after contradiction. So that makes Muhammad a false prophet. Look what he said. Look what he said. If you say these words, Bismillah, blah, 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 and if Allah has ordained a child for them, Satan will never harm him. But you just said that there is none that's not touched by the hand of Satan from the offspring of Adam. And we just showed you the harm that was done, because every child that is born, it weeps because he is pricked. In another hadith, it says he is pricked by the shaitan, and it causes the newborn baby to weep. So it's no way they can get around this. It's no way they can get around this. We have just proven that Muhammad is a false prophet. We have just shown you that Muhammad is commanded by a shaitan. Okay? So therefore, Muhammad cannot be a prophet of God, because what does the Bible say? It says no man can serve two masters. Let's show you that Bible verse. You either going to be on God's side or the devil's side. And right here, Muhammad is serving two masters. He's commanded by Allah, and he's commanded by the shaitan. Let's show you. No man can serve two masters. Matthew 6:24. We'll leave you with this verse because it explains the hypocrisy of Muhammad. You can't serve God and you can't serve the devil at the same time. Let's read it. Matthew 6:24, King James Version. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. And we're going to leave you with that. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Brother Jacob signing out. Hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button, share these videos. And until we do this the next time, this is Brother Jacob and the False Prophet channel signing out.